Welcome to Mukesh Manoharan Studio. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and press the bell icon before we proceed. Now, I want you to close your eyes, just for a moment, and journey back through time, far back, long before adult financial responsibilities ever rested on your shoulders. Picture yourself as a small child, walking through the seemingly endless aisles of your neighborhood grocery store. As an adult, we usually view this as just a mundane chore. But in the highly observant mind of a child, something incredibly profound was happening. You see, you weren't just shopping for groceries. You were standing in the very first classroom of your financial life. Every single time your family hesitated over a price tag or automatically grabbed the cheapest option available, a seed was planted. And the truth is, the complex financial struggles that are keeping you awake at night today, they were actually planted decades ago, quietly taking root right there between the shelves.
So we have to ask ourselves, what is secretly controlling your money? When we look at empty bank accounts or we feel that suffocating pressure of a tight budget, it's so easy to point the finger at inflation or bad luck or the economy. But what if the true master of your financial destiny isn't external at all? What if, beneath the surface of every single financial decision you make, there's a piece of invisible software quietly running the show? This software was carefully, unconsciously coded into your psyche long before you truly even understood what money was. Your financial destiny is being driven by silent scripts and emotional reactions that you absorbed when you were simply too young to question them.
Today, we're going to take a journey together to uncover this. We'll explore the grocery store classroom, the hidden cost of cheap, the deep impact of scarcity and emotional spending, the high-income illusion, and finally, exactly how to rewrite your financial software for good. And hey, as we unpack all of this, if you find yourself relating to this journey, don't forget to drop a like and share this with someone who might need to hear it too.
Let's step right into part 1, the grocery store classroom, the true origin of your financial software. You see, a child's mind is quite literally a sponge. It absorbs the entire emotional energy of the adults around them. When a parent quickly puts a box of cereal back on the shelf with tense shoulders and a worried look, the child feels that anxiety. They absorb powerful, lasting lessons about scarcity and limitation. And these quiet observations, they compound over the years, crystallizing into what we call invisible financial programming. As adults, we often execute these outdated financial scripts completely blind, trapping us in a subconscious loop that was formed when we were barely tall enough to reach the checkout counter. Which brings us to part 2, price versus long-term value, or rather, the hidden cost of cheap.
In so many households growing up, the cardinal rule of survival was incredibly simple: buy the cheapest item available. Over time, your brain wires itself to believe that the price tag is the absolute, ultimate measure of a decision, and this creates a total, almost blinding ignorance to long-term value. Just look at the striking mathematical reality on the screen here. Driven by that childhood programming, an adult buys an 800 rupee pair of low-quality shoes. Naturally, they fall apart quickly. That requires 6 replacements over a 3-year period, costing a grand total of 4,800 rupees. Now, if they had broken their programming, they could have bought a quality pair for 2,500 rupees that easily lasted the full 3 years. This math proves that the cheap choice is almost always the most expensive one. And if you're enjoying these kinds of deep, eye-opening breakdowns, take a quick second to subscribe so we can keep bringing you these insights.
This fundamental misunderstanding extends straight into unit economics, too. That's the profound wealth-building skill of analyzing quantity versus cost, like checking the price per liter or per kilogram. It's a skill that's either cultivated right there in the grocery aisle or it's entirely lost. When we ignore unit economics as kids, we carry that blindness directly into adulthood, and we start believing a really dangerous myth. We start thinking that being rich just means buying luxury brands rather than actually acquiring true wealth-generating assets. We see grown adults failing to analyze investment returns or drowning in loan interest, all because no one ever sat down and taught them the underlying math of value.
Moving deeper, we enter part 3, scarcity and emotional spending. This is where we see how our feelings and our fears completely shape our wallets. The programming of the grocery store wades incredibly deep into the heavy waters of human emotion. Because for some families, the grocery aisle was actually a form of emotional therapy. It was buying a special treat just to numb the pain of a really stressful day. And right there, the child learns a dangerous equation. Spending money equals immediate comfort. As that child grows into an adult facing modern pressures, what do? They turn to the adult version of the grocery aisle, online shopping. A bad day at work results in buying things they absolutely do not need, with money they simply do not have. That false emotional comfort of shopping becomes a silent, relentless destroyer of their wealth.
And then, there are the phrases. The ones repeated so often they literally become the soundtrack of our youth. Money doesn't grow on trees. Let those words echo for a moment. And just feel the deep, heavy resonance of scarcity thinking. When a child hears this thousands of times, it morphs into a dangerous identity. They internalize this deep subconscious belief that says, success is not for me. So later in life, when brilliant opportunities finally appear, they unconsciously sabotage and reject them, because achieving wealth would conflict with the very identity they formed as a child. By the way, if you're realizing right now that you've been living out these exact scripts, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because we are about to talk about how to turn this around.
Let us look at how tragically these specific childhood habits map directly onto our adult financial reality. Imagine a child who is constantly rewarded for impulsive requests in the checkout lane. That child grows into an adult who easily, almost naturally, falls into buy now, pay later debt. Or consider the family that only ever shopped when the food completely ran out with zero planning beforehand. Decades later, that exact same person is living paycheck to paycheck. And what about the households where money talk was completely hidden? That child enters the unforgiving adult world with zero budget awareness, simply because planning was never, ever modeled in the sanctuary of their home.
Which leads us to part 4, the high income illusion, why a bigger salary is just not the cure we think it is. As we start to realize the depth of this programming, it is human nature to look for an easy way out. We buy into society's most comforting myth, that a bigger salary will magically fix everything. But dumping more water into a bucket full of holes, it just creates a much bigger mess. And this is the hard, emotional truth we have to face. If your internal software is coded for scarcity or impulsivity, an increase in income simply gives that faulty software more data to process. Someone starts earning 200,000 rupees, but their childhood habits haven't changed at all. So their spending expands to meet and exceed their new reality. They end up spending 210,000 rupees. The ghost of the grocery store is still driving the cart, my friends. It's just in a much more expensive supermarket.
I want you to listen quietly to your own heart as we go through these signs of invisible software. Do you find yourself always drawn to the cheapest option, totally ignoring quality? Do you feel a heavy, sinking guilt whenever you spend money on your own joy? Is there this constant, nagging fear that the money will eventually run out no matter how much you have saved up? Do you shop when you're emotional? Do you hesitate to invest in courses or personal growth? Do you struggle to build up any real savings despite knowing you earn a perfectly good living? If any of these resonate deeply within you, please go ahead and like this video and stay with me here, because I need you to know you are not broken. You are simply running an old script.
And that brings us to the most important chapter. Section 5, Rewriting Your Financial Software, the Path to True Abundance.
Because the story absolutely does not end in the shadows. The most beautiful truth about human psychology is neuroplasticity, the incredible ability of your brain to rewire itself. Everything you learned in those grocery aisles can be unlearned. We do this in steps. First, you have to identify those childhood messages and boldly ask if they actually serve you anymore. Second, shift your perspective to value-based spending. Ask what brings the best long-term value instead of just what is cheapest. Third, return to the grocery store, but this time with a deliberate budget, and use it as a training ground for your discipline. Fourth, implement a 48-hour waiting period for non-essential purchases to completely kill that false sense of urgency. Fifth, actively invest in your own knowledge. And finally, step 6, consciously develop an abundance mindset.
The absolute cornerstone of this abundance mindset hinges on a single powerful shift in your everyday language. Look at the staggering difference on the screen right now. When you face an obstacle and say, "I can't afford it," you are building a massive brick wall. Your brain shuts down. It is a statement of ultimate limitation. But when you ask, "How can I afford it?" you completely obliterate that wall. You transform your brain from a passive victim into an active, creative problem solver. You begin to look for new income streams, areas to optimize, and hidden value all around you. This one shift in vocabulary is the ultimate hallmark of a truly wealthy mindset. And as we start to bring this to a close, just a gentle reminder to subscribe if you haven't already, so we can continue these journeys together.
We have journeyed incredibly deep into the past today. We've unearthed the invisible scripts that have quietly steered the ship of our financial lives for years. We have seen exactly how the simplest, most mundane moments, a slight hesitation over a price tag, a stressful whispered exchange at a cash register, wove themselves into the very fabric of our adult identity. But as we conclude our time together today, I really want you to carry this warm, poignant thought with you into the world. The grocery store was your first financial classroom, but it absolutely does not have to be your final financial destiny. You are the author of your next chapter. The pen is firmly in your hands. Thank you so deeply for staying with me through this entire journey today. May you walk forward with clarity, intention, and an unyielding mindset of abundance.